Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly and maintenance video for you on this big old guy right here. This is the Ruike P135 SF. So, let's go ahead and take this little guy apart. Since only these screws will only come out from one side, we're going to do that from this side here. And then I am using these little guys. These are two drivers from the, Scout Leather Company. Interesting company. I know very little about, but they make very expensive screwdrivers, among other things. And here we go. So I'm going to see if it's actually a major improvement to use these kinds of drivers versus the ones that I've been using previously. You know, so far they're screwdrivers. They're very nice. I mean, beautiful objects. But yeah, so that's what you see in every other tool I'm using. You'll see in my knife disassembly toolkit video. Okay, let's go ahead and throw a T6 bit into this one here, so we can use that. Pop this loose. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and put that there. And put his here. And we're starting to disassemble ourselves already, so that's just beautiful. And the blade is coming out, okay. Whoa there. So, Ruike, rake. I know it's pronounced rake in pinyin if you spell it out like it is here, but that's just not helping any of us trying to do gear reviews. Because no one understands what I'm talking about if I say rake. They're like, Reich? No, rake. Anyways, I digress. So what we got here is a relatively, straightforward knife on the inside. It's a frame lock sort of thing. Fair amount of internal milling. I think this is probably steel, just given the weight of it all. And that's certainly a choice they made. For the price, I get it, though. And we're going to go ahead and clean off the nasty, thick gunk that they soak all their bearings in always from these bearings. Make things a little easier. Sorry, by the way, if you're hearing all sorts of screamings of the babies and whatnot out the window. It's a hot day, so I kind of have to have the windows open, but the neighbor is, well, that is an unhappy child. Or a very happy ring wraith. I'm not quite sure which. Anyways, so this is actually, I've had a bunch of Ruike rake knives on my table. Is this just not coming loose? What's the deal here? Okay. I think it's just... Okay, and there's a Teflon washer on one side here, which they've probably done because the pivot was too long. Oy, this is actually... the first, I got recently a batch, thanks to Indiana Knives, by the way, for sending these guys along, because he wants to do a giveaway to benefit ALS research. I'd love to do that, but that's how I got a hold of these guys. But anyways, I've got 5 different Ruike rake knives here on my table, of which 2 are worth a goddamn. This one is one of them. The other ones were either just... the kinds of reviews where I'm like, I sit there and I think about doing the disassembly and it just enrages me because it's like, this doesn't deserve that. It doesn't deserve my time. That's a snobby thing to say, and I'm sure that it's, but at a very real level, that's part of what I'm trying to do here just to avoid, burning out, to avoid, keep this fun, is to, skip the stuff that just, if they don't give a crap about it, why should I? So, this is one of the knives where it's like, okay, this is worth looking at. This is worth carrying. This is something that they're trying. And I really do, I like that. And so that's why you're getting the full disassembly here. I don't know how I feel about that choice, but at the end of the day, the choice that is to, skip the disassembly on knives I don't give a crap about. And more specifically on knives where I think there's a major issue that would, no matter what your opinions are, make you not want to buy it. But yeah, so anyways, I'm just cleaning this guy off, by the way. There's not a whole lot to highlight here. It's steel detent ball, steel bearings, steel liners, steel blade. One thing to highlight, I guess, that I could show you is that, this here is a Ruike rake exclusive thing. Well, maybe not exclusive, but what they've got here is a little bar that you can kind of move over that prevents the lock bar from disengaging. And you can see here it's got a little bit of a spring put into place here that holds that in. So if you look at that and going like, what the heck's that thing? That's what that's about. Everything else here is just it is what it is. So there we go. Let's go ahead and put things back together now. Yeah, let's go ahead and put things back together now. Okay, so step one is going to be to put these little guys in place. Do these? Yeah, these actually have a D shape to them. So there's a little flat part on the top. So we'll just make sure that the flat part on the top aligns with the flat part in the handle, which will prevent these from rotating freely, which I very much appreciate. And I hope very much that Ruike heads over to Rayot and shows them how to do that, because holy crap, guys. Sorry, the last knife I just disassembled was the Brian the Doe Micro Typhoon, which had free spinning pivot and whatnot, and it just annoys the crap out of me. Oh, and then I forgot to install. These guys are just wanting to go into position here, and it's okay. So did I clean the pivot? I did not clean the pivot. Let me clean the pivot. Like I said, this little Teflon washer here is one of those things that I always struggle a little bit with. So what it's probably doing, and mind you, I am not actually a knife maker, but if I were a betting man, what I'd say this is doing is they must have made the pivot a little bit too long for this model, or just this pivot size doesn't fit this model or whatever. And the way that they fix that is by putting a little piece of plastic there. What that does is that makes it so that the pivot can't go all the way into this, and so it gets effectively a little bit shorter. Look, this is a budget-focused knife, and honestly, at the end of the day, do I really super care if they're doing that, if they're cheating the pivot a little bit by using a little bit of plastic? No, it's not going to affect the action, etc. And so for this kind of a price point, because I'm assuming, I haven't actually looked up the price on this guy, but I'm assuming it's going to be cheap as heck, or it freaking better be. For that kind of a price, okay, I can absolutely live with that, that kind of thing. So, that doesn't bother me so much, but at another level, it does feel, oh, damn it, as I lift this up and both of these come falling out. But it's also a little bit just like, okay, that's a cut. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Come on. Trying to get that freaking D shape into position. I've now rotated it, 800 degrees. Oh, it's because I'm going the wrong direction. Hashtag not a brilliant man. Come on. Go home. And the other one fell out. Shoot me. Don't, actually. Because then, what just fell? Something just fell. Oh, the stop pin. I can live with that. All right. So those are in place. Stop pin. You go here. I choose you, stop pin. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to drop the blade onto position here. I have lubricated the blade itself. This looks like it's just a positioning hole. It doesn't seem to have any functional purpose. I'm using a 10-weight nano oil here, by the way, as my lubrication, just because this is a knife that could have a very nice action if, reassembled properly. So, I want to give it the best shot at that. Okay, now this pivot has a D shape on the bottom of it, D shape facing down, so that should be okay. Probably should install the backspacer, just thinking aloud. Knives tend to work better when you put a backspacer in them. For those of you unfamiliar with the knife game, that's mostly because you want something keeping the handles, apart in the back there. Or else they pinch together and you have a bad time. Okay, now we need to get everything seated. One of the better ways to do that is by lifting the lock bar up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some Loctite here. I'm going to use some blue Loctite, which is great, because that'll just help prevent these screws from backing out unless I want them to. And more importantly, once I have these screws put into position, these things aren't going to freaking come out again. And that's really what I need right now. That's the secret to my heart, is those screws not falling out again. Luckily, the wife discovered it early. That's a joke. All right. You hear that, ladies? Or men, for that matter. The secret to any man's art, having those screws not fall out again. So buy him a rake. Buy him a rake like this, and then Loctite those in place. It's True romance like that. Alrighty. Shakespeare didn't have it in the sonnets, but it should have. Let's go ahead and put this in here. Well, is that working? So I'm going to go ahead and loosen the lock bar. Oh, of course, this is popped over. Close the knife up. Tighten a little bit. Okay. Too tight. Way too tight. So we're going to loosen this up a little bit. What I'm going for here is a relatively free action without blade play. Okay, now we got blade play. Let's tighten up a little bit more. No play, deployment. Is the detent the strongest thing ever? No, but it should do the trick most of the time. And then we'll just tighten down these back screws here as well, just to make sure they're all 100%. And because they're D-shaped, there's no problem there. A little bit of play again. So actually, I'm going to loosen things up and then retighten. Okay. I'm going to back things off a little bit. A lot of this is just adjustment. One of my very favorite comments. Oh, and we are way off center now. That's no good. Damn it. One of my very favorite comments that's come in on a disassembly video lately was a person whose name I'm forgetting. I'm so sorry. But who simply stated that, you know, the fact that I would constantly in these videos untighten, tighten, untighten, tighten, untighten, tighten, and then, you know, expect things to change, and then highlighted that, you know, one functional definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different to happen. Yeah, that's kind of what I do in this. It's just little tiny degrees of change. Okay. No play. Good action. Centering is better, but not quite there yet. Or is the blade warped? That's another option here. No, the centering's just a little bit off. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do here to try and diagnose it, and unfortunately this is kind of the nature of the beast when you're dealing with a lower-end knives. Very often, Ruike is generally a little better than that, but San Renmu stuff, who makes Ruike, by the way, but, you know, this has been a thing in the past. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is find a thing, an object, a monad. Give me a monads. It's a monad, not gonad, different thing. Find something that I can go ahead and shove in between the blade and the side of the scale, because that will help me to get this into position properly. Because I want something, I need something with more stiffness than that. Hold on. Paper. Got me a paper. Let's grab some paper. Very nice paper. Rhodia dot pad. It's the way to go. 13 minutes in. So look, practically speaking, does it matter that I can't get this guy perfectly centered? No. Am I going to get it perfectly centered? I'd give myself maybe a 30% chance. But I do want to try, because, you know, if I've taken something apart and then put it back together and, you know, done so in a way that it could have been centered, but it wasn't ultimately, that's not great. So this is a little trick here. If you basically hold the blade to the side that you want it to be on and then retighten everything, sometimes that can actually do the trick. It's just a question of managing the tension in the system. A good knife, you shouldn't have this question. It should just be centered. The way it is put together, the tolerances it is ground on should just be fine. But very often, inexpensive knives are not good knives, and therefore they are, or at least not good in that way. And therefore, when you disassemble them, things go out of whack a little bit. And is that better? Yeah, it's almost on center. I should have checked at the start of the video very carefully to see. Let me loosen this up a little bit. Which side is it favoring? Damn, it's favoring the show side, which means generally, because the lock bar is always going to be pushing the blade, it's pushing on the blade in this direction, which is going to push it that way. And so generally the way that you fix that kind of centering is that you tighten the pivot a little bit more. Indeed, with the pivot really fully cranked down, it's even not centered. So that can't be the case. And then, actually, the action is not bad, even fully cranked. At least now. Back this off a little bit more. Is there a lot of play in this system here? I can pull the blade dissented. I'm still kind of wondering whether it's... Wait a second. Hold on. I'm wondering now. Because one other option, one other possibility is that the blade is actually centered between the scales writ large, but that the grind isn't centered, that they ground more on this side than on this side. And as a result, the blade is fine, but it never will look centered. It's kind of hard to diagnose, but I'm seeing some signs of asymmetry in the grind, where this guy's coming a little further over. Okay. Well, am I full of crap here? I mean, probably. So look, this is at a level at which, you know, nobody has ever given this particular knife this amount of scrutiny. At the factory or otherwise. So, practically speaking, the knife is running great. There's no problem with it here at all. Get everything locked down. That even works. Beautiful. Damn, there's a little play now. Already it's coming loose. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. So what I'm going to do here is tighten things down and then not carry this for a little while. It takes Loctite a little while to set up. Most knives don't actually need the Loctite. Actually, maybe not most. Higher quality knives generally don't need the Loctite. It's just not necessary, but, you know, sometimes it's necessary, and if it's really doing a lot of work, it needs to actually set up and whatnot. But I'm wondering whether we are slightly asymmetrically ground here. Just looking at it, kind of eyeballing it down the middle there, it kind of looks like we might be, and that would make this look uncentered, even though, because if I look further back on the blade, the centering seems to be okay. I don't know, maybe I'm completely, well, I am completely nuts, but, you know, whatever it is, we are where we are, and the knife is running fine, and that's how you would disassemble and maintain it. I hope this has been interesting to you. I'll kind of keep carrying this guy, obviously, before the review, and let you guys know and gals know what's going on during the review itself. If I don't mention it again, clearly it's fine, or it's where it was. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at here. I hope this has been interesting to you, and that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.